Finding out the truth about a relationship rarely happens like it does in the movies. There's almost never some dramatic, sudden realization where everything just clicks at once. Instead, if you're the one going through it, it usually starts with the small, totally mundane things, like noticing a shift in how she makes her morning coffee, or the way he ties his shoes before work, or even just a passing look that kind of doesn't match the conversation you're having. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a super grounded look at the facts behind infidelity. We're going to walk step by step through a typical daily routine to see exactly where these red flags hide right in plain sight.
But first, we really have to talk about that sinking gut feeling. You know the exact one I'm talking about, right? It's that heavy, subtle anxiety that hits you right in the chest when your partner walks out the front door in the morning and something just feels off. And listen, research actually shows that our subconscious is incredibly good at detecting lies and micro-inconsistencies way before our logical brain catches up to what's really going on. So, if you're feeling that weight right now, I want to validate that for you. Your anxiety is completely valid. But rather than spiraling into a panic, we are going to look at this methodically.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be tracking these changes chronologically. We'll start with shifts in daily routines, move into the smartphone digital fortress, follow the money trail, identify manipulation and gaslighting tactics, and finish up with how to confront your partner calmly.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, Shifts in Daily Routines.
Think about your typical morning. You know the rhythm of your own house better than anyone. Before, maybe your partner left their phone sitting openly right on the kitchen counter while you were both scrambling eggs or pouring coffee. It was just a piece of plastic on the table. But now, suddenly it goes into the bathroom with them while they shower, safely locked behind the door. What they're doing is creating new territorial boundaries around their technology. They're treating a previously totally accessible device like it's highly classified material that absolutely cannot leave their side for even a single minute. Then pay attention to the behavior right before they walk out the door. You might notice a sudden, really intense obsession with their own appearance. Taking extra time in the mirror or buying new clothes completely out of the blue. But here is the fascinating and frankly exhausting psychological twist. Suddenly, they are hypercritical of you. They're complaining about how you load the dishwasher, or they're sighing loudly at the way you folded the laundry. Psychologists actually call this cognitive dissonance. Basically, to justify their betrayal and still view themselves as a good person, they subconsciously try to convince themselves that you are the problem. They put you down to lift the heavy burden of their own guilt.
Moving right along to Section 2, the smartphone digital fortress.
Picture this scenario. It's the evening, you're unwinding on the living room couch, and you just lean over to glance at a funny video playing on their phone. Instantly, they tilt the screen away from you. It's almost like a middle school student shielding a test paper from the kid at the next desk. Notice those sneaky phone habits as they start stacking up. You might suddenly hit a password prompt on a phone that used to be unlocked. You might realize their recent call logs are suspiciously empty, like they're being wiped clean every single night. And if you ask a completely innocent question about who just texted, you aren't met with a casual answer. You are met with an intense, disproportionate defensiveness that leaves you totally bewildered.
And then we get to the late night hours. Investigators have noted a very specific window where illicit communication really thrives, and that's the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. late night shift. You might be lying in bed trying to sleep and you notice the faint glow of their screen illuminating their face in the dark. They are engaging in these prolonged texting sessions, but the phone itself is completely silent because the notifications are disabled. This is a massive indicator of a compartmentalized digital relationship. It's a connection safely conducted only when they think the risk of you looking over their shoulder is at its absolute lowest.
Let's look at Section 3, Following the Money Trail.
Let's talk about the financial red flags that can pop up when you're just trying to manage your shared everyday life. Imagine you are at the grocery store checkout on a busy Sunday afternoon. You swipe your shared debit card to pay for the week's meals, and boom, it's declined. You literally have to awkwardly hand items back to the cashier because the account balance is mysteriously lower than it should be. You get home, check the accounts, and spot large, completely unexplained cash pulls from ATMs across town. Or maybe you realize that certain bank statements have totally stopped coming to the house because they've been quietly diverted to a newly created private email address. Having an affair takes resources. It takes time, yes, but it also takes a significant amount of money. And these financial anomalies, they are concrete footprints.
Now, this is a truly staggering figure.
Research suggests that around 4 in 10 people admit to hiding some aspect of their finances from their partner. So this specific type of betrayal, financial infidelity, is actually alarmingly common. And whether it's a hidden credit card used for dinners out or a secret crypto wallet used to fund illicit activities, the damage it does to a relationship's bedrock of trust is just catastrophic. It really points to a deeply calculated level of deception.
That brings us to Section 4, Manipulation and Gaslighting Tactics.
So say you're standing in the kitchen, wiping down the counters, and you casually ask about that missing grocery money, or why the tablet is suddenly locked. What happens next is a psychological tactic called gaslighting. It relies entirely on power dynamics to shift the blame away from their actions and dump it directly onto you. When you notice something is off and politely voice it, a gaslighter will not just deny the accusation. No, they will actively attack your perception of reality. They want to make you feel like your perfectly valid observations are actually paranoid signs that you are just losing your mind.
They'll say things like, "You're doubting me because of your own insecurities. It's all in your head." This is exactly how a simple, entirely logical question about a late work meeting or a silent text message gets aggressively flipped into an attack on your mental health. They deflect their own crushing guilt by making you the problem. It is a deeply disorienting, incredibly unfair tactic designed to wear you down, make you second-guess yourself, and ultimately stop you from asking any more questions.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Confronting Your Partner Calmly.
This is the climax of our daily life walkthrough. It's the evening you finally decide you simply cannot live with that suffocating anxiety for one more day. I really want to emphasize this incredibly powerful advice from relationship therapists. Lead with your hurt, not your rage. Look, it is completely understandable to be furious. You have every right to be. But if you walk into that room like a prosecuting attorney, guns blazing with accusations and demands for confession, their nervous system is going to instantly go into defense mode. They will put up massive emotional walls, and all you're going to get are more lies or a totally pointless screaming match.
Instead, try following these confrontation steps. First, prepare. Pick a quiet time in the living room without any interruptions. Put the phones away in another room, mute the TV, and sit down face to face. Second, make strong eye contact and state the facts you've noticed without turning it into an episode of Law & Order. Try saying something grounded like, "I found something that is making me question everything about us, and I'm incredibly hurt and scared right now." Third, ask for their help in understanding the situation. By showing your raw vulnerability instead of your anger, you disarm them. You create a quiet, honest space where the truth actually has a fighting chance to finally come out.
We've covered a lot of ground today, right? Everything from the morning coffee routine and locked bathroom doors to late-night screens on the couch and missing grocery money. Knowing these signs, the power is now in your hands. So I have to ask, how will you choose to navigate the truth of your relationship today? Trust your gut on this. Living in the shadow of suspicion is its own kind of hell. You absolutely deserve clarity, and you deserve the truth. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And please, take care of yourself.